Sims and Pansy for all of the planes.
We're here. We're going to be jumping into it. We're ready to go, even though, yes, it was, it's snappy. They want to try and get this one closed down. I'm sure for some of the teams, they'd rather forget how today's gone. Certainly, a few names jump to mind, but some will want to remember this. The Sauna Boys putting up quite the performance, Rich. That's definitely caught my attention. DA still in contention as well. Northern Lights still up there. Tornado Energy, perfectly fine today. Maybe not one of their highlight days. When we see them go off, they go hard, but still a good day nonetheless.
Indeed. I mean, a 21-point game is a 21-point game at one point, no matter which way you look at it. These boys have been in 16th so far today, and now they're up in 9th position. Like, that is just phenomenal work, and it shows every other team, to be fair, what simply one good game can do. I am intrigued to see if we get kind of anything more towards the western side, with it starting up towards the northeast. Ends are going to be happy. This is kind of home turf to for them, so to speak. It won't necessarily with Northern Lights up there as well. They'll definitely have a little bit of congestion here, there, and everywhere. So they'll have to be very aware of it. Look again though more towards Sosnovka Island. Like, that is just chaotic. The
Bloody
bystanders in melee base. Thank you very much. Job done. Fears have adjusted ever so slightly, and it couldn't be more polar opposite. I mean, look at, potentially here, Batulans is just off scouting near Nova. He's like, no, boys, no one's here. You're all right. You're on your own. The rest of them are safe. So a big old swing for him if it's not a slight bug or something, and he's all the way down there on his own. For everyone else, there's opportunity here to maybe try and take a deeper foothold. I'm interested to see what WS formulates with the Wanderer up on those really nice overlook towers that kind of watching down into Roshawk. That'd be a nice place to take. Yeah, he's just down at the bottom end. He's flanking. It's totally fine. This is completely to be expected. He's just monitoring the bridges, making sure that all the information's given back to the polar opposite end of the map. This is fine.
This is fine. He's okay. He's got his bathrobe on. He's ready to go. He'll be okay. We've seen him get over bigger, tougher circumstances. We'll see how he gets on. Anyway, so coming towards the north does mean that the actual playable land is actually pretty sparse of compounds, buildings. The topography is there. It can be playable, but you look at it as I've called it, obviously the chicken tendy. More than likely, it will sit somewhere south of Severny, that kind of run across. Simply because the river runs through the southern portion. The northern quarter is obviously cut as well, with water in it. So eventually you feel either maybe, at most, maybe Stalber, but even then, that means it has to go towards water a fair amount. So this does look like maybe a shooting range, sort of hillside ending to me.
There is definitely potential for it. There's a couple of areas around there, especially as you see the old dugouts downstairs, the bunkers that you can inhabit. There's a hill bang opposite shooting range that is very predominant of where I always remember FaZe Clan would always set up and scout off there, or even work their way off there. So there's means to an end. Still a lot to do, especially when it's so far up, and we've got half of the teams already down in the south. FaZe are moving early, just so you are aware. I see vehicles in abundance heading across the bridge. There is a question in back of my mind: do Navi bother to look this way? I mean, generally they don't even bother to look this way when Liquid's always coming across, so you wouldn't anticipate it happen now. In fact, all four players look like they're going to be on transition. Bystanders still staying their feet. Sauna Boys, same position for them, but a much harder circle this time round. Lots of ground to cover. Still plenty of time to do it. It's not the most abundant of loot where they're going to be looting all the way down the south, but you know what? It is what it is, and here we are. Shift W could go for a bit of a wrap. I'll be impressed if Senya lands any of these, to be honest. Going through the fields. The 8 times off the back of it. He's got the sight and he's got the scope for it, but still it would be a hell of a shot to do so. Squeaky as a solo player. And this is what you might get NLT on the opposing side as well. I mean, Smash DA as a whole are already looking for a place to call home. And this is kind of giving us some idea of how this game is going to be, Lauren. Like, get snuck in now, get a good foothold on the map, because honestly, space and territory is going to be nigh on impossible if it shifts again towards the north.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I want to see what DA do with this. I'm quite interested. They've got a good spot early on, so I'm sure they'll tuck themselves in, dig in deep, and just kind of hold the territory. But they're quite spread as well. They haven't gone for just, you know, that one specific area. So I'll be interested to see how they play this one out. Obviously, Ents get whatever they want. They were there pretty much at the very offset. Omicron going towards Stauber Hillside. Bystanders still just looting away. Same with the Sauna Boys. This is going to be quite a, I feel like a contrasting game. We're going to have two potential looks. The team's going to be kind of, you know, shuffling and, you know, rubbing shoulders just to get that big compound at the start. You know, maybe the little, you know, maybe not known Leanville. That area just doesn't really work. But that little compound that's further down that has all the cars in front of it, that little, you know, building is always quite a nice pick. Where the pink ponies are, where Omicron are, you can see the benefit to one over the other. And then we're going to have the late teams who are going to have to play very much for those hard shifts and hope for the best, because it could be quite tricky otherwise. So, as said, for me, curious to see who gets the kind of pick of the litter here. I think the teams have noted what we did at the start is that this circle is going to be very tough and it's going to be a very small playable area at the very start. So it could be explosive, or we could simply have a lot of teams left towards the very end because they will shuffle into harder fought for positions early because there is only limited amounts of available area in a likely circle ending.
Everyone will just shuffle in and find their position here. FaZe Clan, fair amount of open ground between them. Currently just residing, or traversing through North Georgia Fault. Right, seeing Gustav hanging back just through West Town, but that could be just to gear up. See Gustav at hospital, so we'd have to assume that it definitely is to gear up at this point in time, just to finish up what they may have missed back on Sosnovka. We do have to be aware that in the distance there could be a fight kicking off between the Sauna Boys and the Bystanders. The Bystanders are just hitting the bridge now, but I can already see Flamey is out on a limb and looking for potential victims if there is anyone still alive and kicking over here. Vasco got out of the vehicle at the damn wrong time, and he has paid for it. Not quite with his life, but certainly with his car. That is terrible. That ain't good. Panic stations, and now that allows Mert to maybe even get behind him. Don't you do the same. Don't you do the same. Sakura's just gone down, which assumes to me that maybe bystanders have shot him. Like, why else would you go down at this stage? Unless you don't have... Yeah, unless he doesn't have meds whatsoever. It's one or the other. He has no meds and he's just... So we'd have to assume that sort of... Excuse me. Yeah, bystanders have shot him.
Yeah. That feels like that's the more correct assumption to be made because of the positioning. The circle had only just come through, so he must have been taken quite low by the bystanders as a parting gift, as they've made it across the bridge already. Navi's heading across the bridge by Georgiapol. Recovery mission successful for Omicron. They get their buddy back with them. Be like, hey, don't do that again. And red line, would you? You would. Okay, Nailup's pulled into this, and Code Marco's just been killed. Alright, we've got some weird fights coming in. Lovely shots as well from Paige there. Finding Ivers. Asku gonna confirm what started. And Redline, this is an interesting pull-up. This could be shared, but doesn't look like Omicron want to be sharing at all. Oh, that nade. Ooh. Good damage. Second to follow.
Page, run. Kind of two options, I suppose, off the back of this one that Redline have. Or had at least. Now they have to... Don't shoot your teammate in the back. That's just silly. They could have gone to the plateau. It's just above them. You can see on the roadside in the distance, it does kind of feature there. And they could have took the vehicles in and maybe just bear down upon these teams as they do come out eventually once the circle moves away from... If it moves away from them, of course. It could go to Severny for all we've known. We've seen endings there numerous times. Oh my...
What?
Lord, that is...
What?
No land at all. What in God's name is that circle?
Batulin's galaxy brain just... He knew it was coming. He's like, right, I'm going to play the edge of the next circle. What? Okay, let's look at all the teams who are moving right now. FaZe, TSM, WS, Na'Vi, Liquid, Tornado Energy, Shift W. That's without going into the likes of Bystanders and the Sauna Boys. This is horrible. This is a straight 50-50. And the land is obviously the 50. It's not nice. This is going to be the mass migration. Everyone trying to move around towards the hillside. It can house a lot of teams. This comes down to, have you done your homework? How well do you know this area? For the likes of Ents, this is rolling it back a couple of years. They should be in prime position to do well here. This should feel like home to them. But whether or not they get there, yet to be seen. DA getting a good bit of fire towards them. Got to be careful now. Mert worse for wear. Smash next to receive a bit of damage. Are now smoking, but still going to find his way forward. Looking ahead, Omakan probably quite happy they're in a good spot. They still are. They hold the coastline. Up on towards the hill, Tornado Energy. Shift W can just swing in. They have no problems now. If they go just up the hill a little bit, take their time, hell, Stalber could be theirs.
Shift W, Stalber could be a point of entry, at least to be able to swing off the back of it, defend it, and make sure no one else comes up this way, because it's a very clear transition point. Example on point. First bullet lands into Ira and they turn him face. Vard has opted to get out the vehicles and maybe tackle this one head on, especially if he can bait Example into fighting him up close and personal. With health down, Vard up with a nade. He does have support from Ira. The Mosin's out, but can it find its target? That's the question. The nuclear warhead lands. Vard on point, bang on. Example dead to rights. Nothing he can do about this one, but they still have death from above, and it's something they very much have to be aware of. They're not out of the woods just yet. Taking one is a piece of the puzzle, but the rest of them could be out for revenge. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing in the distance, Lauren, Shift W, they're edging closer to this. They want to get involved in the action. This could spell disaster for TSM. 249 comes round the corner. Yes, it may have been nerfed ever so slightly, but certainly up close and personal, it's going to be a devastating weapon.
Quizzy continuing to push this, though, I'm going to put a question mark by it. I hope he's tradable. I'm assuming that Melman's position is going to keep them safe, but look at Kilyukai. He ain't far. Brexico's seen this. They've seen TSM first, so it looks like TSM is going to be in a bad spot pretty soon, wedged in between these two. Quizzy's gone and been found. Yeah, untradeable. I didn't like that positioning from Quizzy. Kilyukai can behead Miraku, but now everyone's going to scatter, scurry, run away. Iroh, run away! He's sticking around on this. He's 1 HP. This is rough from all sides. Shift W, though, using that high ground to perfection. Good nades to come through and going to keep everyone at this foot of the hill horrifically humbled. And there goes TSM, 16th place.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Certainly contact point when we're coming up that foothill side. Everyone else will just aim towards it. And when you've got people already above you, you're going to run towards the shots. It's as simple as that. You want to get involved in the action. I can see Pink Pony in the distance, and so does Melman. He's fallen victim to them. They'll be the first one. Liquid is just idling below them down towards the south. Even Ence. You know what? Stuff it. Even Ence can get involved. Chris has overstayed his welcome, gone a bit too far. Should have stayed with the rest of the team, and by doing so, unfortunately, will fall victim. The Finns take an easy frag point. Braxco, nade down, damage done. Maybe they just keep going on this one, but they can't go too far. You can already see the tracer fire coming from the Pink Ponies. Does have some sort of an angle. Melman, once again, feels the full force of that. The SKS lets rip and puts him back on his ass. How many more do we have that need to come into this one? Okay, DA is slowly but surely working the way up, or down, if you want to say. They've actually been towards the south. They're working closer towards Stalber. Molly in. Will it disperse them? Should be in the corner, and it should at least tickle them to put them in a very precarious predicament. They're both on fire, and they're both easy targets. Bye-bye, Tornado Energy.
Okay, Na'Vi's turn. Time to run to where they can. It looks like Orange is going right near the Sauna boys. Now, do they commit on this? Orange is in trouble. He might have to. I don't think he's got much more to run with. Tab on the other side. Misa could have done with some of these shots. Let's see if the Finns can withstand again. Na'Vi, the first to fall, will be Orange. And now more pile in, though. You can see Etiquette. Everyone can see everyone here. The kill feed is going to be absolutely grotesque. But Tab has found Misa. Let's stick on board with this fight, because Nuki's coming in as well. It looks like Na'Vi, or at least the Tab, has claimed this area. But look how vulnerable he is. Even with that touch of cover that he now has, it's so minuscule.
A lot for the Shack at this point. The stage in the game when there's so many teams alive, there's nothing else really you can do. I'm watching WS on a map as well. I'm seeing FaZe Clan have all turned their arrows and they're just facing that one. WS may be forced to actually run the gauntlet.
They're in the classic ditch.
The beachhead. Yep. But they're held back. There's nothing really they can do. If they take the coast, they have to go against Omicron, and that compound they have gives them so much leverage. You go further afield, you then got Batulin's on his own. It's weird, but you know, whatever works at this point. Ball actions may come into effect. You can get one knock onto FaZe Clan. Maybe you push that as a team and find a kink in the armor and make it work. ETG rocking a hard place. Na'Vi behind you. Pink Pawn is in front. That's the Northern Lights just behind, looking into that. And there is the shot. All right, Maxi.
They've got to push it. They've got to push this. I'd love to go on board with WS right now, because if you've got the opportunity, you've got to push it. You get that knock, you press up. You can't let them keep that cover. If they get the heal in, you're done for. So for now, it looks like Gustav will be back on his feet. 3, 2, 1.
There
He
it
should be back
is.
up. There it is. Here's off string though. Straight away heading in. Fuzzface has the cross, but Wanderer's nade's done well towards Gustav. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but we know that 80 was low. Kemba's position is good and the nade's even better. This is good from WS. They saw the weakness and they're going to press that issue. Now the problem is, yes, you still have the one and only Ivan against you. This guy is an animal of all kinds, but he's surrounded on all fronts. There's not much more to be done here for him. I feel if he gets a good nade, maybe that could help. A quick kill would be perfect. There's the first, the nade gets the second. This is Uber at his finest, but there's so many eyes pouring towards him. There's nothing more to be done. 14th for FaZe. So let's look at who's in prime position here, Rich, because that circle has just adjusted. Oh.
It has, and it's honing on the pink ponies. Their position been pretty damn good thus far. ETG are at the door, and they've been knocking there for some time. Who's cycling the grenades, and with so much blood on the opposing side and so much damage done, he knows there's a few bodies that could be cleared up here for some easy frags. Northern Lights, the rest of them. Perfectix is actually rotating ever so slightly. And they do need to do this eventually because it becomes much more difficult. If they go down towards the south, they are going to get sandwiched between all the teams that are already prime center. The Sauna Boys and Team Liquid playing border control. It'll be extremely difficult. That's backed up by Mexi and Jeems taking a deeper angle. Actually, elevated line of sight. Win streak is finished off finally. Funnily enough, FaZe actually pick up a few kills while doing so, so the bleed-outs are there for them. Managed to get the tags and the knocks, the points will be there, and they need as many as they can. I mean, hell, coming into this 13th position and going down outside the top 10 again, this is just all forms of bad in the camp of FaZe at the moment.
Poor old Nookie just got absolutely blasted by a Scar. Not something I've said in a while, but, you know, we like a throwback. Not sure what Liquid can really do with this, as they're quite far back towards the, you know, further end of the circle. You've got the likes of Clib now moving up with Mexi, Jeems and Ibby kind of holding the extremities, and they're quite safe here. Now, if Northern Lights do go on a southern swing, that's where problems could occur, but we're not sure where Northern Lights want to go yet. Sitting in first place, I'm amazed they've been able to do so well, considering the Petulins wasn't with them, and now he's dead. Now he's dead. As, you know, they didn't have their IGL with them, which does actually pose a bigger problem, but I'll keep my eye on Clib for now. As Mexi did just get knocked, it looks like, so we're gonna see a little bit of trouble here. Clib, oh my god, that nade almost fell in his pocket. Bloody hell. Northern Lights, right, this is where they want to go. Do they pull up? Should be. This is a good place to pull up too. Tab is alone here. Now, yes, they're being watched, but they can find a touch of cover. Tab's gonna keep his head down in the bunker. All these nades, they're just pinging off the back of the wall. This is dangerous times.
Because they've got people above them. Like, they can't tuck themselves in too deep, because if you do, you're just going to expose yourself. If it's not from the player in the trenches, it's the one on the hillside. Who does have an AWM, so if you can make that bad boy sing, you're going to be laughing and maybe just relieve a little bit of pressure, but you do need to tackle the problem head on, which is the tab. T-Bone and Spyro fall simultaneously. Different teams, different fights, and it shows exactly what's going on across this map, with Omicron unfortunately getting pincer between two different rosters. They have to tackle ends first. It's not going too well. Tixu responds. Vascu does fall. And again, from Redline, behind, they've waited them out. Omicron went first, and Redline just says, you know what? We've been waiting here for so long. We'll come in and we'll clean this one up. This should lead us, essentially, into a fight up against Redline and Ents.
Potentially, I'm looking at Tab. There is a chance he can 1v3 this. If they stay stuck in that corner, he could actually pull it off. Redline are moving in. Now pick whichever fight you prefer. Tab's nade didn't work out, and now he's getting nades back at him. He's left the, you know, the foot off the pedal for a little too long, and he can't quite keep them now cornered down. Molly comes in. Tab looks like he might be done for pretty soon. But over in the other camp, the Redline fight towards Ents has gone quite well for Marv to begin with at the very least. And now Tixu going to deal with Nail Up. You've got Diggory on the low ground, catches down QBE, but it's Marv on the trade. Still so much more work ahead of them though. Tixu making this hard work, difficult work. The smoke's creating almost a new bit of terrain here. A new bit of a layout, but the problem is that Marv is mopping up his teammates, and what can he do about it?
His position's noted at least. They'll just hold it for now. Hard peek it. Hope for the best if Marv comes this way. Should be getting a first full, unless Marv's just kind of waiting out and going for the res. QB's in a resable position, which is good, and they can try and even this number up. All Tixu's friends down and dead. He doesn't have to focus on that. He doesn't have to worry about that. He catches them while they're on the resuscitation, which he does! And strikes with perfection. Tixu keeps the dream alive for Ents, and more importantly, keeps up the much-needed frags. Spyro.
Okay.
Still chilling on the
Position
hillside, but the rest of his
movement.
teammates just on the opposing with... I don't know if you noticed as well, with Northern Lights earlier on, they took the vehicle before they actually rotated. They went to pick up the crate first, hence this is the reason that we're all geared up at this. But did Hugh just see him, or was he hitting the deck because he was low?
I don't know. I'm not sure which way that went down. Now, Jeems has got the higher angle now on the Sauna Boys. It looks like Liquid did rotate around. You saw earlier Clib trying to use the low ground to get close, and he might try it again. But Jeems' position should pay off pretty well. Nuki's going to be hard to clear out this corner unless they get nades in and everything else. But honestly, at this point for Liquid, you might need to be worrying about the bystanders. They still have the high ground on them. So keep in mind, this is from kind of east to west, high ground to low ground. And then the plateau where the pink ponies currently reside. So you're going to have a couple of weird fights, a couple of, awkward scenarios. And this is lovely from Perfectix. That's what you want to be seeing. Northern Lights now pushing that lead a little bit higher here. DA staying quiet till endgame, it looks like.
Time to get loud and proud.
Spyro, bloody hell.
Oh, you got 3 on here. I was hoping he was going to knock that one because he can actually focus on the 2 that are wrapping down low on him. That's something he definitely needs to be aware of. With Lou in the backup, that at least covers that. And with the blue there, they will at least fail on the scenario and the situation for now. Noki's still going strong onto Lou. That removes the level 3 and the big green machine from play. Pink Ponies have been here for quite some time. Remember, they got in early. They've been shooting into various different teams. The question is there going to be enough ground to cover from here? The only problem that they will have if either of these fights actually end, they'll be held dead to rights basically until it all kind of comes to a head. And Team Liquid will wrap on this one. They'll hear this shot and understand what's going on.
Nice shots.
Is ridiculous.
He's having a big game right now. I don't know if that's going to be able to continue much further because Pink Pony's position now with that circle in combination is very tricky. They can follow the ridgeline around, but it opens up to Nuki and Jeems. So there is no easy option. But now we've got to look towards Shift W and DA. They have to move here. This is far more interesting. Ents shouldn't get a fight until they get right up towards the Pink Ponies. They find Paige and that's it. I want to look at DA's positioning in comparison to Shift W, as they're going to be in quite an interesting fight. Now, I'm not sure if bystanders have vision on it or how this goes down, but Tixu does need to run in. He can try and get close and be almost undiscovered. This would be the Northern Lights running that ridge line, but he's got to be careful to not expose themselves towards Nuki or Jeems.
Jeems actually just taking damage from it, so he's tickling in from the side. So he can't really go too far. With Club on the back, eventually we'll be able to show his face, but you can see what the idea is just keep yellowing Trick so he doesn't loop back round behind them all. Tixu also has some kind of an eye into this one with him laying down. That could be a 1-2 and a thank you if it lands in the head. He's hit 1. Presence will now be noted. If he falls onto yellow. A lot of scouts coming into play, Lauren. You've mentioned it. Maybe they know something we don't at the moment. The 5.56.
I'm interested.
I reckon it's a big, robust comeback after the old barrel meta, but we'll soon see. 4 times with the barrel in the hands of Spyro. I'm not a big fan of the 4 times up close and personal, but you know what? These players make that gun sing. Kill Your Kite finds all of DA lining up. 1, 2. Can you find the second? You absolutely can. Matrelius down low, but now you have to pick up the points. If he gets this 3rd and final one, I will be mind blown. Oh, we just waited too long.
Oh, that really sucks. Okay, Matrelius, you've got the entirety of Shift W coming your way. Not bad on the first. Tries to reset on the spray. Gonna try and cast Zoka his life. Oh, this is looking whiffy. It's looking a bit throwy, Rich. Oh, Zoka's feeling weird about it. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Awkward times. You can see the frustration on Matrelius' face. You can see it all over the place. They are not happy with how that went down, and I don't blame them. Shift W died for that. But bear in mind, DA got, I think, 1 point from this entire game. Not exactly a huge performance from kills from them. This could have been a bigger statement, potentially. As Northern Lights still alive, they can do far greater damage and maybe push that lead further.
Tixu still holding to be a nuisance. Liquid gatekeeping bystanders. Don't want them to come much further than this. Just sounds like a beast every single time it goes off. 1 clip in the leg should do it. Mexi finds the weakened player and York goes down. Instant confirmation off the back of that. Beam it, wrapping low, or at least attempting to get a different angle, different avenue of approach if you can. maybe even get in front of Team Liquid, but they don't want to do that. They'll try and cut that off and stop them having any advancement into the circle. Clib just hits the world. Beamy gets his face demolished. Now it comes down to Flamey as the last bystander standing.
Oh, this is getting tough. What, 5 teams is it now? And the Pink Ponies have actually survived this, which is quite impressive. Now, whether or not they can leave. Let's see who can do the damage. We do have Northern Lights still here. Liquid just got destroyed on the other side. Excuse me, destroyed by Standers. So that nade finding perfect placement. Let's look at how many are left here. So Team Liquid actually still have quite a few standing. James is isolated, though. Don't forget that. He's a little out on his own, and it's for a good reason. The south side is being controlled by him. He still knows Nookie is in this goddamn building. He can't get him out. The blue will force Nookie to leave soon. This is why the nade is being ticked now. There goes the nade. Would love that to go through if it could. Ooh, Nookie. This boy is spicy today, but Spyro just found aim. So this is the Pink Ponies trying to leave this compound, and we've seen this being a problem. But Perfectix has gone down. Spyro's still alive, but doesn't stand. He's prone. Vest broken, helmet broken. Nothing left to fight with. Pink Ponies make it out. Now we're down to just... Is it just 2? It is. And as the Pink Ponies have made their position perfectly noted, aim... Dashbury would like a revive, but I think that blue's going to catch him first. I don't know if this is the best of ideas here. No, it's not. It's a fumble. They could have maybe tried to change that, maybe go into a better position earlier, as Liquid now control the circle, Rich. They control 50% of this, and it's not even looking difficult for them right now. Mex is going to get the first port of contact. There's the first tag from it, but there's a player closer by. Gerya has been undiscovered so far. He could potentially find Mexi, and if he does, it's game on.
The second Liquid ended with bystanders. They just started bolting it across the map to get into a better position to receive this fight. Gerya does answer back, though. That's good. That's the start of building back something that could be almost seen impossible. But if you stay your ground, people will come behind. They will take full advantage of this. Clib is just ripping them a new one at this point. Gerya has to sit down and hold to see if he can get him. He somehow does. But all of a sudden...